Hello guys, welcome to another grip related video. Yes, as I said in a previous video of mine, I want to show you a table and also a graph where you can see how all those different hardcore grippers we have in the world, of different brands by the way, which is so important for this video. So how all those different hardcore grippers of all those different brands in the world, how they are all related to each other in terms of their rating, means in terms of the resistance they provide for us who want to train and improve our crushing grip strength in particular, okay? And what I did was, okay, I had to choose, of course, between all those, or among all of those brands that are available. But from people who have more grip experience than me, I always saw that people mentioned the same names. People always mentioned the Iron Mine grippers, so the captain of crushers, the Gillian high performance grippers, the Robert Baraband grippers, sometimes even the heavy grips or heavy grippers, and the beef builder grippers. These are the 5 brands they were always mentioning. So if you go to grip sports athletes and grip sports YouTubers who have a much higher following than me, for example, you will always find those names being mentioned. But of course, not all COC grippers, not all GHP grippers, Robert Baraband grippers, heavy grips, or beef builder grippers have the same resistance, have the same rating. And I did a previous video where I showed that without having to buy always different grippers which are in between, you can also somehow try to get your way up by, well, putting paper around one handle and therefore decreasing the range of motion you have to do in order to close it. And if you can rep out, for example, like 10 to 12 reps in a row with the gripper you want to close, but you're not really able to do it right now because you're always missing on those last 2 to 3 millimeters, right? You can sort of that way work your way up and one day close your goal gripper. But there's of course a more elegant way and maybe a better way to do that if you have the money for it. So that's the condition number 1. If you have the money for it, there's a better way. And the better way to do it is to look for grippers who are in between. So to give you an example, the COC number 0.5, which is rated officially at 120 pounds, 120 American pounds, okay, is my gold gripper right now. And I would say I'm about 10 pounds at close away from closing the 0.5. So I have the trainer, but the trainer doesn't really provide any challenge to me anymore. So I had to choose, or I had to look for another gripper if I don't want to do this wrapping thing, okay? So what I do then is I look if there is a Gillian high performance gripper, for example, that is exactly between 100 and 120 pounds. And of course there is none. So what I have to do then, I have to look for another brand. And as you can see, the GHP1, the RB100, and the HG100 are all rated the same as the COC trainer, so all rated at 100 pounds. So in order for me to get closer to my goal in closing the 0.5 right now, I have to go with the Beef Builder Beginner. So that's the only choice I have. And that's the way you have to look at this table, because it's sorted from the easiest gripper all the way down to the hardest gripper. And I will come to those red marked ones at the very end of the video. But I just wanted to show you that that's the way I, created this table, so to speak. And because sometimes pictures speak louder than words or numbers, there you have the graph as well. So that you can always, no matter where you are right now, I mean, you can pause the video, you can screenshot it, whatever you want to do. If you find yourself stuck in between and you always miss closing the last 2 or 3 millimeters of your goal gripper. It can be frustrating after a while. And as I said, if you don't want to wrap one handle with paper to decrease the range of motion and you don't find it so beneficial for you, well, maybe that's the only choice you have then to really get to the next level in time without wasting another 3 or 4 months on those last 2 or 3 millimeters. So no matter where you are right now, even if you are, for example, like here right now where the COC number 2 is, and you want to move up to the COC number 2.5, well, guess what? You have such a high possibility of choosing between, or you have so many possibilities to choose from, because you have the GHP 5, which is 5 pounds heavier, then you have the HD 2, the RB 210, the GHP 6, and so on and so forth. So this chart really gives you an overview of all the grippers you can really use for, well, reaching your next goal, right? And I mean, that's why I marked it here in orange. The COC number 4 is sort of, yeah, it's still sort of the gripper that needs to be closed from the very elite of grip sports athletes. And in a credit card set, of course. I'm not talking about parallel sets. I'm talking about a credit card set. But as we can see from the table and as we can see from the graph, there are obviously harder grippers that you can buy and that you can use to train. So if one day, for example, the COC number 4 doesn't provide a challenge for you anymore, which I think is highly doubtable, because you can still go there for reps, for example. But if it is like that and it isn't a challenge for you anymore, you can still maybe get the BB Grand Elite, the GHP 9, GHP 10, the Beef Builder Pro, or the Beef Builder World Class, if you are really, really strong, and if that's the biggest passion in your life, and the only thing you care about in your life is closing grippers, then that's maybe for you. And now to those last 2 grippers, okay? I heard from a guy commenting on my video that there's a Beef Builder Thor and a Beef Builder Hercules, and he told me that they are not made for human use. And now I can see why, because if you look at these numbers like 895 pound resistance or 1,800 pounds resistance, I mean, there's no way I can imagine that there will be someday somebody who closes one of them two naturally. Right? I mean, maybe you know somebody who could do this, but I think it's almost impossible for the human body to have such a high grip to be able to close a BB Thor or a BB Hercules. And please let me also know in the comment section whether you think the BB World Class is closable in a credit card set. Okay? I'm always talking about the credit card set when I'm talking about closing those hard grippers, because that's what interests me, okay? So do you think one day there will be somebody who's able to close the BB World Class in a credit card set? And do you also think it's, even with the use of performance enhancing drugs, possible for any human to close the Thor or the Hercules? Or is that something that was just produced or made out of fun? Please let me know. Please let me also know how you love this rating and how you love the visualization. Sorry for my breaks. Sometimes I'm German, so I have to think while I'm speaking, maybe even 2 or 3 times. And yeah, that's it. So please let me know everything about this video. How do you like the table? How do you like the presentation? And what do you think about those hardcore grippers? I would really love to know. And by the way, before people say, okay, well, there are COC guides who have 61 pound resistance, or 59 or 62. I mean, I know there are deviations within the models. Not every unit that is produced is exactly the same, but that's how how they are rated when they come out of the works, okay? And that's the only thing that counts for me. Okay, I know you can always individually rate your own gripper, especially if you buy several units of the same model. That's obviously a wise decision. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the official numbers, and based on these official numbers, how you can choose the right gripper for you to, well, to increase your grip strength in no time, basically. So, as I said, I have problems closing the 0.5. I've only started maybe 7 months or 8 months ago with grip, so I'm still at the very beginning, and I'm really thinking about buying a Beef Builder Beginner, simply for closing this small gap that we still have, right? So, or that I still have, so to speak. And yeah, if you want to have it a little bit wider so that you can see the numbers a bit clearer, let me just move this one up here if I can. Maybe I cannot because it's always on the line, but I will make it even a bit bigger for you. So now you can see all the numbers very clearly, and you can now choose really the perfect gripper for you. So as I said, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like it, please share it as well, and feel free to comment. So yeah, thank you very much, and see you soon.